go. The following video is for Elance. Is basically in response to a dispute that we're having with a X-ceptional Solutions for one of our projects. Over the course of the past week, we've been exchanging a lot of emails, and basically we felt that you just aren't reading what we're sending or don't fully understand what's going on. You sent us an email the other day which basically offered no real solution to this dispute, and only regurgitated pretty much the options that X-ceptional Solutions provided. So basically what we're going to do here is take you through step by step to help you try to understand where we're coming from on this and what exactly happened. So to begin with, this project was started back in February of this year. Basically we contracted with X-ceptional Solutions for $997. Their project, the project was for them to produce 50 different articles at 800 plus words each. It was their responsibility to handle all of the research for the project, to deliver a specified number of articles to us according to a schedule that we'd agreed to, and to make any revisions that we felt were necessary until all of the articles were approved. Basically, despite their responsibility to do the research on their own, we wanted to help them and sent them a good chunk of information as the project began to try and help them understand the kind of information that we wanted to have in the articles, and just try and help them along with it, so get off to a good start. For the first few weeks, we started receiving articles bit by bit, and things initially seemed okay, and we just kind of sat back and waited for them to come in. But as time went on, we noticed that articles weren't arriving on the scheduled dates as we had agreed to, and that on April 13th was really where we saw that there was a real problem. On that date, we notified X-ceptional Solutions that, quote, nearly all the articles that they had sent us recently needed to be reworked or needed a lot more detail, and on some of the articles the information was just plain wrong. This was a real problem, and we wanted to make sure that they understood that. Unfortunately, they didn't respond to us very quickly. It wasn't until April 18th that they wrote us back, and they actually said, and part of their message was, quote, their company's attempts at securing and using adequate material was not up to par, end quote, and asked us for our help in obtaining the necessary research for the articles that needed to be revised. To say that we were shocked by this was an understatement. Basically, X-ceptional Solutions had just admitted to us that they were incapable of doing the research required to complete the project on their own, and that much of the information they used to write the 20 to 25 articles they had sent us over the previous weeks were created using, in their own words, limited or conflicting info. Worse still was that they had not communicated their need for research assistance or confusion about writing the articles to us before this point. Instead, they had apparently decided to write them anyway with insufficient or conflicting data and hoped that we would accept them. A decision that had not only resulted in weeks of wasted time, but was also insulting to us to expect that we'd accept anything less than a well thought out and researched article. Despite this, on April 19th, we told X-ceptional Solutions that we would help them with the research, but it wasn't also something that we hadn't planned on for the project, since they were the ones who were supposed to be doing the research. Their response to this, in a nutshell, was if we couldn't send all the revisions by the next day, April 20th, which was one of the originally scheduled end dates for revisions, could we pay them? Well, the fact was that they hadn't sent their articles to us as scheduled, and because of that, our responses to them on those articles didn't arrive when they should have. And now we were finding out that they had completely failed to use proper documentation or research in writing many of the articles they'd submitted to us to accept. So clearly, in our mind, there was a real problem here. So on that same day, we wrote them back and basically said we weren't going to pay for unfinished work, and that just wasn't going to happen. Later that day, they responded to that message by saying, quote, your point is well taken regarding the release of the escrow. It will be as you requested. upon completion of the revisions. So basically at this point we had told them that we were going to help them with the research, that we were going to go through the articles and do the revisions and give them the notes on it, and basically send all that to them. About 5 articles every 2 to 3 days is what we're going to try and do. We told them that we have a lot of other projects, so and doing extra research wasn't something we were expecting, but we're going to do our best to help them out and for both of us to move through this gradually. On May 3rd, we had sent them a message saying, please give us an update on the articles we sent. We never got a response to that. Weeks went by, and it wasn't until June 14th, over a month, that I emailed them again, basically asking, it's been over a month. We haven't gotten any of the revised articles for which we sent you research. We haven't heard from you at all. I think the last message from them was on May 5th. Basically, they had asked a question that we'd already provided an answer to. And our message on June 14th went unanswered. On June 16th, I sent them another message basically saying, hey, it's been 2 days since we've heard from you. What's going on? Never heard anything back from that either. Later that afternoon, we kind of came to the conclusion that maybe this just wasn't going to work out, and just to kind of part ways, and we said that we'd give them $200 for their time and effort and just kind of leave it at that. About that same time, it wasn't until about June 20th that Mark had saw on Elance that the funds in our escrow account had been released back on May 6th, and called Elance to find out what was going on. The rep that he had spoken to said that the money had been auto-released, and the rep at that point changed the status of the job to working and told Mark that he should file a dispute. This was a real shock to us, because for over a month we had thought that X-ceptional Solutions had been working on the articles and research that we had sent them for revision. Instead, they've been paid by Elance on May 6th, the day after the last message to us, and against their promise not to collect the money from escrow until all the revisions had been completed. So clearly we'd been lied to, and Elance had released the money without our permission. On June 24th, we were reviewing other projects that we have going on right now at Elance, and came across, actually by accident, that the notice that a dispute had been filed by X-ceptional Solutions. Our understanding is we're supposed to receive an email about this, but we never did. So basically on Monday, the following Monday, June 27th, we were wondering what was going on. So I called in the afternoon and spoke to 2 separate representatives at Elance to try and find out more information. The first one had told me that we had until Tuesday, the following day, to respond to the notice, that typically once something like this is initiated, there's 3 days to do this. I called back a short time later and spoke to another representative, Kiar, and he told me the same thing, that 3 days is usually what it is to respond to something like this. But then I asked him, I said, why haven't we been notified about this? He then told me that there had been a backlog of emails that needed to go out on Friday, and that ours hadn't been sent yet. But he said that the clock for responding to something like this doesn't really start until we get the email. Well, I'm making this video on July 1st, and we still haven't gotten the video, or the email. So at this point, we began really wondering if there was some sort of a communication problem between Elance and our project, or if there's some sort of a malfunction or something, because we just weren't getting emails back and forth. So on June 28th, we wrote and submitted our response to Elance. I called to confirm the receipts of the email, make sure that they had gotten it. I ended up speaking with Jennifer in their dispute resolution office. She confirmed that they did get it, and also took a little bit of time to go over with me what had happened about the release of funds for in our escrow account. She explained to me that the way this typically works for projects on Elance is that when a project is coming close to being completed, that the vendor will send a request for payment email to Elance. Elance will then in turn send in the email to the client, us in this case, to say, hey, this has been done, this request has been made, and basically notifying us that there's a limited number of days in which to review the project, make sure that we were happy with everything that was going on, and then if we weren't, to file a dispute. The dispute would have stopped the auto-release clock, basically preventing the money from being released until our problems could be resolved. I told Jennifer that we never got those emails. To this day, we haven't gotten those emails. And so what happened on May 6th was a complete surprise to us because we'd never been told. So it was especially a surprise because in our emails with X-ceptional Solutions, they'd agreed not to collect the escrow funds until the revisions had been made.
You can see in our messages, we still think they're working on it.
Yeah, and then up until June 14th, we still thought that they were working on it. On June 29th, we received a reply to our dispute response, and from Elance saying that they basically they couldn't do anything. That the money had been transferred, that was it, and that X-ceptional Solutions wasn't willing to give us a refund, and that the only options they could offer us was what X-ceptional Solutions had offered, which was something like $200. Well, I mean, it was completely unacceptable. I mean, the job wasn't done. They shouldn't have been paid for it. So basically, right now we're just trying to get a hold of somebody at Elance. We feel they really haven't done anything to resolve this situation except regurgitate what the vendor has offered, which is nothing. And something needs to be done about this. Basically, Elance, either directly or indirectly, is responsible for allowing this transfer of money to occur. The emails that should have warned us that this was coming never got to us. We never received an email that a dispute had been filed, which jeopardized our ability to respond to it in a timely manner.
How did you find it?
And so this is where we're at. And we hope that Elance will respond to us shortly.